ones or like?
Just like a
There we
movie,
go.
like capturing like a piece of furniture and moving it to a drawing.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So yeah, just to back up, I know Sarah said she wasn't going to be here. Just to back up, so just since I'm recording now, all I was saying is that make sure everybody can use the new button up here. When you click that, you probably get an option. You probably only have this one as your options, and then that starts up, and you get this thing. And then the way we're moving around in here is by holding the middle mouse button, and you can turn it into pan, and that will pan around. And then if you take that middle mouse button, you can scroll in or scroll out with the rolling the button. And so those are the major ways you get around in CAD. So once we're in here, I guess I wanted to start to talk about just some things that are in here that we kind of touched upon. And these are all set up for the drawings that we use for printing and laying out, meaning every one of these colors is assigned a line value, a line weight, maybe even a color. Like some of our switches and our power things, those turn out like a magenta color when we print them. But our dimensions actually print in blue. I've got a furniture dimension and I've got a regular dimension for the architects, and those will print blue. I happen to have them blue, but they could easily be red and still print blue because I've assigned a certain color to print out a certain way. So as we get deeper, that's kind of what all this stuff means. So this is saying that this particular color is going to print in blue, and it's going to be 0.15 millimeters thick. And so we can certainly talk about what that means, but a quick reference would be going back to the uh, projects folder under the AutoCAD folder. And then in plot styles, we have mapped plot styles, which it looks like that's the latest. I should probably delete the other ones. That's the last one I had. And so if I pull that up in Bluebeam, there's several of them in here. But this one, Ali and Shay 2022, is the last one we're using. And so this lists all of them somewhere. Here we go. This guy. So 0.15 millimeter is going to be that thickness. But for that dimension line, that's actually going to be blue. So if you're wondering how thick things are going to be, if you print this sheet out at 11 by 17, you could use it for a reference, and those will all be shown at real scale that they're going to plot at.
Which folder is that one?
That is back in
We're a little bit slower.
Yeah, sorry.
projects folder,
Yep.
and then
AutoCAD.
AutoCAD, and then plot styles.
Plot styles, got it.
And then do you double click on that Ali and Shay 2022? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I just opened it. It's a PDF is all it is. I made a printout of the PDF.
Alien Shay 2022. Scroll down.
Sorry, no. I'm opening up mapped plot styles 128.2025.pdf.
No, that's
Mapped
120.
styles. Okay.
Which one?
Wait, no.
128.25.
Yeah, let me delete the other ones.
Yeah, like 3/4 of the way down.
I wasn't getting that screen that you were getting. Okay.
And yeah, so that's just reference material of what our CAD settings are. That
Okay.
you don't need that for CAD. This is just if you want to understand what our colors are, what they look like, how they print out. And here's an example of like walls, doors, toilets, text, notes.
I think he's zoomed in. Oh, okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys following that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in that PDF document, I've actually got different plot styles. Like an old one that I used to use was called 750 because that was the name of the plotter that we used. This is for Hyatt Stu. That's a landscape architect out of Denver. This is Roaring Fork Engineering Surveying. That's the plot styles that they use. And so you could have the exact same drawing, but if you choose different plot styles, the drawing will look wholly different because they've got different settings, and it might look really bad if you're not using the right settings. when you're printing. And so
Let's see.
if you know, it could look like this. This is the AutoCAD default. So that same thing that looks, black and white in Alley and Shay, if you use the default acad.ctb file, all these colors are going to print whatever colors you see on the screen. And
How
like,
do you tell it to use that file? Like,
okay,
where do you
yeah,
go?
good question. So like that's back when, if we had a sheet layout here, we would go to the tabs on the bottom. And in a normal job, this would already be laid out. Maybe it'd be a floor plan or something like that. And then when we go to hit print, it's right here in the pen assignments.
Here's open.
So that's the
Oh,
Alley
in
and Shea
front. Okay.
2022.
Whoops. Shoot. Oh, there it is. Okay, so.
Yeah, and if you can't see this, there's a little, sometimes people have this menu and they're like, wait, I don't see that. There's a little circle down here that has more options. So if you don't have more options, you should open that up. I just leave that open all the time so I can see it.
Okay. Alley and Shay, 2022 CD. Okay. Yep.
And because you guys are opening up our default starting file, I've set all that kind of stuff up so that it just works.
Go to this AXX down here. Open that up and then print.
So we probably won't really ever need to be using other pod styles.
Probably not. I just want you to be aware of them because at some point maybe somebody will change it and forget, or it'll accidentally be on one and they'll be like, why the heck isn't this showing up right? It's possible. The other reason is like before
We're
when
just defaulted though, always, right? For this.
I defaulted always to that. Yeah, so it shouldn't matter. But another common thing is like if you had just restarted your computer or you had to reinstall AutoCAD, this would say parentheses missing. It would know it wants this, but it would say, hey, I can't find it. And so that would
Oh,
be,
we're just checking to see what pod style it's in.
and so that's what we set up last time was we set up where these things go look, how to find them. And so your AutoCADs are now defaulted to know where
Okay.
those things are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are some basics just kicking around, right? And so that's what all this reference material is for things like that.
Okay.
But then they're also on like the correct layers. Like if we're drawing interior elevations, which I'm sure many of you have gone into, you'll know that I typically set those up and they look something like this. And so these 3 sheets equal one full-size sheet for 24 by 36. And then we generally use these as our room names. Like for example, when we're referencing the floor plan, and then we use these for the elevation tag. So let's go open up like Forest Lane to just see how that's kind of set up.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yep.
Because I'm trying to just like follow what you're doing. When you highlighted that A7X box and it made like a perfect rectangle in green around it and you pulled off a layer and pulled it over to the side.
Yep.
When I do it, it's like a random blue, like here. It's like, it doesn't do like a green box. What is that?
Oh.
Like, is that a?
So here, you mean like this? Hold on, let's see. Like that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what hers is doing.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to click once and let go. And then you're now, I'm not holding the button down.
Okay.
So
And then you
hold,
click a
that's what's
second
making-
time,
Oh,
a second time to pick it.
yep.
So
And
when
then
you
you just drag
hold the
it?
button down, that's allowing you to do any kind of weird shape that you want to do.
Uh-huh.
Like if you wanted, like, I want to get in here and you know what? I want to get, this very specific, I only want this, not that. Oh, but maybe I want this end too. And that allows you to do that.
Okay.
And
And
then
if
while we're at it,
you
go
make a
ahead.
mistake, how do you undo it? Like,
You hit escape, the escape key.
oh, okay, just escape. Okay.
That's kind of the back key for everything. So anytime you're in something and it's not working right, hit the escape key a bunch of times and you start over.
So now when I did highlight that box,
Yep.
you dragged it. How do you drag it then?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm doing a little more things. So I highlighted it, right? And so that's
Yep.
the things we have it highlighted.
Mhm.
And then I'm using my keyboard commands. If you look down here, this is the type command. And so
Yep.
whenever you're in AutoCAD, you're going to be typing something and it shows up down there. So I'm
Mhm.
hitting the M command, which is a shortcut key for move. And then, so it says M right now, and I hit the space bar, which is what is also enter in AutoCAD, space bar.
Ah,
It's saying I have the move command. I'm in the move command. And
Yeah.
it's saying specify a base point or displacement. So what that's saying is like, now that I have this stuff selected and I want to move it, where do you want to start your move from? So I'm going to click a button right there, and I just click the mouse button once. But now you'll see when I move around, it's moving with me.
yeah,
So now I can zoom out, zoom in, use the middle mouse button to pan, do whatever. I'm not clicking my first button again. I'm using just the middle button. And then I want to put it right there, and I click a second time, and that's where it'll let go.
Oh, okay, got
And
it.
so that I just moved it. See how it's
Yeah.
gone from here?
Yeah, I
The
did it with
other
the,
option, so now I'm going to do Control Z, which is like undo, right?
Yep.
In every program. It moved it all back. So let's select it again. And if I
Okay.
hit C, it even pops up here. See, the command is copy. So C, I hit enter, and now it's saying I'm going to copy, specify base point or displacement. And so again, that's the part that's selected. I'll pick a point there with my mouse, and then I can zoom in and out, put wherever I want. And then again, let's say I want to be right here, click again, and there I just copied it. But now that I'm in the copy command, I still can make more copies. And every time I click, I'm going to make another copy.
And it's CO for copyright, not, because C is circle, I think. Is
Oh,
yours just
shit.
C?
You're right. I've changed mine. Copy
Oh, okay.
CO by default.
CO,
Because when I
okay.
did C, it was like, why
Okay.
didn't you draw a circle? So CO is copy. How did you change yours? Is that just like
How did I change it?
really advanced?
Yeah, it's a little more advanced. We'll circle
Okay.
back to that. But
We'll
so
do that
then
later.
you guys are, let's see. So right in here, you should be in here. There should be a modify. One of these guys should be copy, I think. There it is.
Yeah.
In the modify thing on the top here,
Just left click it once, okay.
there's a little
I got
copy
it,
button
and then
there.
Don't, and then
Yeah.
let it go.
Are you guys seeing that on yours?
Yeah, do you see the copy button?
Oh, wait, that's right, type. Copy button is, where is it?
So it's in the modify, so.
It's in the modified
Oh.
on the bottom. It's the middle one kind of up here.
You might be on a different,
Go to your home.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on a home tab right here.
Ah, okay,
So that's copy right there.
okay.
Or like I just use the command line like Scott does, so if you just type, you just highlight it and you type
Uh-huh.
CO.
Okay, so
That'll
that's
just
just two
copy
ways to
it,
do it,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So
everything
where
you
do you, it's not dropping, oh, you have to do that?
So highlight it first, is it highlighted?
Yeah, I did highlight it,
And
but,
then do CO, type in CO, and then enter. And then you should be able to pick a point. Oh wait, oh, it's red. Try that again, sorry.
sorry, I
And
had it.
highlight that in blue, yeah. And then CO,
CO.
enter. Oops. And then it's asking you to grab a point that you want
Oops.
Yeah, that little command prompt down there is really helpful because whenever you're in a command, it's always asking you something. So if you don't know what the heck you're supposed to do, try and look at that down here at the command
just
line.
pick a point, yep, that, and then you can drag that, and there you go. No, it's causing it.
Got it.
Do you want
Wait,
me to
ooh,
show
wait,
you?
how do you stop it now?
Just, you can, that's where you can like kind of zoom in and out
Mm-hmm.
and, kind of move it everywhere.
Yeah, like when you're
And you just
halfway in
leave
between the
it.
command, you can kind of move in and out and zoom and pan. And that's why having the mouse with a third button on it is very helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's gonna keep
so how do
copying
you
until
stop copying and?
you just push escape.
You
So
hit
if you
escape
wanna, like,
again.
stop doing this, like, see how
Okay.
Scott's is
Yep.
like,
Yeah,
you could just push escape. And
Okay.
it'll-
and to delete them, do you?
So
just
yeah, so now if I
highlight?
want to delete those, again, I'm selecting. And so let me just talk about select a little bit more. So remember you hit the button once,
Mhm.
and if I'm pushing this way, see how it's blue? But if
Yeah.
I go this way, it's green.
Yeah.
Those
Uh-huh.
mean different things.
Okay,
When it's blue, I have to have whatever I want to select inside of the blue box. So right now, this line or this rectangle or whatever, it goes beyond my blue box, right? So if I click the second click, it didn't select anything. But if I use the green one and just go over those and now click the button for the second time, it selected those. So what the difference is the blue, it has to be within the blue. So for like example, if I want to select this text and that arrow, I have to encompass the entire thing. See, like right now, I don't have the dimension style within the whole blue. So when I click the second time, it only selected this one and that one, not that and that.
Mhm.
But if I do it the other way with the green, and now I'm crossing over the dimension and including these, it selected this line, that,
Any
that.
part of it, right?
So anything it touches when you're going green, it will select versus anything you touch when it's blue, it must be inside of the box. So like you can't just have half of it.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then things like this is a layer, this is a text thing. So this text thing, I can select it down here with the green, but I can't do it with the blue. But if I get the whole thing, I can. So it's a pretty basic concept, but it makes a huge difference when you're trying to get into things. Also, like I said, when you're holding the mouse button down, so like right now I'm not in any command, but if I press and hold the mouse button, now I'm doing that sort of squiggly shape. And you can see right now it's green.
Mhm.
So that means anything that it's going to cross, like now if I let go right now, it'd pick those, the white thing and pick the red and that thing. But if I come back over to here, it'll also pick those dimensions. But if I start out pushing and moving to the right, it's going to be blue versus green. So if I want to kind of go in here, I want to do this, and I kind of did that. Well, now if I let go, I'm only going to get the arrow in that dim 24 thing because I'm using the blue one.
Got it.
So it's really helpful when you got a lot of stuff on a page that you got to try and go around.
Mhm.
Where was I going to go? Back to, let's go to Forest Lane. So Forest Lane down at the bottom here, we have all these tabs laid out. So these are all the sheets. And so if I go back to model space, so the difference is this is what it's going to look like on a piece of paper when we print it and it's all formatted and laid out versus model space, which is the first tab here. This is sort of like the entire world view. So I can zoom out and see every little thing that we've ever drawn. Another thing here that is atypical, which let me just change the page setup manager here. Page setup manager, I think this is because Mary has been drawing in it. I'm gonna modify the page. Then there's this little button right here to display as plot styles. So that means it's going to use the Alley and Shea pen weights and colors and things only, not the actual colors that I drew them in AutoCAD. So if I turn that off, I can say okay, close, and then you'll see these turn back all to the colors that they were actually drawn in.
Sorry, real quick, Scott, are you in like the elevations?
I'm in
121 elevations?
Forest Lane interiors.
Um,
I guess let me back up even further. Since we're not doing anything in here, just in case, I'm going to exit out of here and don't save, just in case anybody's working in there. So if I go back and open that again, what I did was I highlighted, I'm in the Forest Lane drawings folder, and then the 2023-21 interiors file. Instead of just clicking that down here or hitting the open button, there's an arrow right next to it. If all I'm doing is looking in there, I can click that arrow and I can say open a read-only version. That means anything I do in here won't be saved. And in the case somebody's like, if Carrera's drawing in it right now, I won't mess up anything that she's doing when she saves. So if I open
I'm
up,
trying to open it, but it's like,
How did you do that?
can't open it.
No, mine's telling me, I went down to maybe I'm in the wrong folder or file. 2023-121 interiors, DWL2.
DWG.
Nope, you need the DWG.
Okay.
That
I don't
DWL2 file,
Yeah.
that shows up because that means that somebody's in that file.
Ah, okay.
Wait, Scott, can you show me how you opened up the read-only?
You bet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
So when I hit open, you go navigate to whatever file you want, and I went to Forest Lane drawings.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
There, add interiors, I just don't know how
I'm
to do it.
highlighting the interiors.
Okay,
If you're opening it through AutoCAD, are you like in the open button?
Oh, no,
Oh, no.
I opened it through the Dropbox.
Me too.
Oh, no.
Back
Do
to
it.
that.
We should set that up. We should do that through AutoCAD because that makes a huge difference on certain things.
Really? Okay, I've always done it the other way.
oh, here we are.
So the reason that makes a difference is like when I have like, does this
Got
one
it.
have it? This one doesn't have it. Oh, here, let me open up. We were just working on that. I'm gonna move to my projects folder, Holiday House. We just did that. And then in drawings, then I'm gonna open up those interior elevations. And so in here, we've got a bunch of like weird things.
Read only now.
I think in here, is it these?
When we get that proxy information
You just
warning, do we have to click anything or just hit okay?
You can just hit OK. What
Okay.
that means is that I've got a bunch more smart objects that you guys can't use.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's like these walls and things. Like you don't get these grips. These just look like blocks or groups to you. Whereas I get these grips and I can move and do things with them.
Uh-huh.
Wow, okay, I've been opening files completely wrong. Because now when you're opening it through AutoCAD, you're only seeing like 3 colors, right? As opposed to all the colors you have on your screen.
Okay, so remember that was a function of, are you in model space right now?
Yeah.
So that was a function of going right clicking on the model tab and doing the page setup manager,
Oh,
which is then taking you to your printing settings. And if I'm going to say for my model tab, I want to modify it. This is like advanced stuff that Mary's done, so that's why it's a little different. And so she's checked this button down here that says display plot styles. And so if I check that again to put it back the way Mary had it and say okay, that's going to strip everything down to like a black and white drawing, except for any colors like our,
yeah, that's what I have on mine.
yeah. And so some people find that Mary likes that better. She doesn't like to see all the colors. I like to see all the colors because I know then if something's on the right line weight and the right color, and she's doing it by like zooming in here and see how this is showing like a fatter line here,
Yeah.
thinner line here. That's because what those colors are is what I set up in our plots. And so I'm more familiar, like this is a light cyan color. This is
Right.
red color. This is a dark red color. And so I'm more familiar with the actual colors versus she is just like, I can see this is fatter than that.
I think you went into a different,
So if you
we're
go
in
mod,
forest. Okay.
Um,
Oh, it's in black, right, or red and blue, I think.
yeah, mine too.
Oh, yeah.
I like
So how do you get it to the color version?
So now that we're in here, it's the same way, it's just
Yeah.
first. So I go back to model tab down here. I right click with my mouse button. And then there's an option here to go into the page setup manager. When you click that, that's basically like all your printing settings. And so if you did that to one of the other tabs, you'd be changing how those tabs set up. And it's all the stuff that I default set up for you. But now it's asking what setup do you want to change, and it's highlighting the model, and you just say modify right here. And that opens up this print dial. It's kind of like a print dialog, but it's actually a page setup dialog. It looks just like how the printing is. And then it's this button right here.
Ours is coming up with a warning saying the
Adobe.
plotter configuration cannot be used, right?
I just hit okay and then it went
Oh,
to this.
yeah, just say okay then.
Um,
That's a function of, it looks like this one's set up to be a Adobe PDF. So if you don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Adobe in there, it's gonna not find it.
Okay.
But you could say none, you could,
Yeah, that's what I had, none.
yeah, that's fine. The thing that's making it show white, black, white, and colors is this button right here, the
Okay.
display plot styles. So if you uncheck it and then say okay,
Oh, okay.
and then close this down, it'll all change back.
Okay, cool.
So just uncheck it, hit okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
and then close. Yep, and then you see all the colors.
That normally doesn't happen, but it's because Mary knows more deeper things into the CAD
And
files.
to just go back to the black, white, and red, you just do that same process, but.
Do the same
check
process
that.
and just check the button again. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so when she goes in again, she'll probably turn that back on.
Okay. The colors are kind of nice to have just because you know what layer you're drawing things on.
Exactly. So like if, for example, I want to, let's change one of the layers here. And you may or may not have this drop down, but actually let's change it to a different color. Let's change it to something that it's not supposed to be, like purple. So if I wanted to start drawing text and typing, when I got finished, I would know, hey, that doesn't look the same as the text. But if it was black and white, it might look the same.
So I prefer to work in colors.
So I like
You know,
working
like
color
plumbing's on a
myself.
different layer.
Right,
And
right.
then carpentry's on a different color.
Yeah, it's very easy to make sure you're on the right layer if you're doing the right thing. And so for you guys back on the home tab, we're getting a little sideways here, but on the home tab, right here, there's a whole layers portion here. And so if you, right here is the current layer that you're drawing on, you can choose that and do whatever. So like if you're going to be doing notes, that's going to be a dash note right here. And then you can choose
Notes.
multi-line text, draw a
Mm-hmm.
box, type whatever you want, hit enter. We'll get deeper into that later.
For this one.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
the top of the color, it says A gem right now. So if you scroll down, I'm sorry, not, no, this drop down, is that what you want?
Yeah, I just went, let's see. There we go. I just clicked on that.
Go to the color,
This guy.
yeah.
Oh, 18 print. Oh,
There-
okay.
There you
Got
can
it.
see the whole list of everything. So you should be able to say like a note.
A dash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see that. Okay. So yellow or red. And what does a dash note mean? It's just if you want to write something on there.
Yeah, so anything.
Yeah, so remember when I said we went over to the template over here and we picked this thing.
Yeah.
So I've already got set up right here. If you want to use notes, you can use here. And they're already, see how it highlights and it says it's on the A note layer when I select it? Well, if I hit escape to unselect it and then I pick this one, oh wait, it's not showing up. Oh no, there it goes. It was just a delay.
Okay.
It's showing that it's on the A dash dim for dimensions layer. And then if I escape to let go and select this thing is on the A dash note 2 layer, which means it's going to be printing in black. Or like if I select this thing, that's on the layouts layer. So I have all of this set up on the right layers that it's going to be. The layout layer, even though it should say here, this note will not plot. It is a non-printing layer. It won't show up.
Okay.
It only shows up here to tell you guys things. Or like, if I have something for Mary, I'll put a note in here and be, hey, Mary, be sure to look at this thing. And I'll put some, obnoxious line or something like, go look over there. And so next time she comes in, she'll be like, oh, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like this cloud over here, that's
Mm-hmm.
saying. This got wider,
Mm-hmm.
heads up needs to be updated,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just internal.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
content.
Yeah, if you're in there, I probably have some of those.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, right there. Big
Yeah.
giant note, change to quarter inch reveal everywhere. Make sure that they are all the same.
And is there only one way to move pages? Is it only on those tabs, or is there like a page forward command?
Just switch from
Yeah.
tab to tab.
Yeah, like,
No, you just got to pick that one and then pick the next one.
okay, got
Pick
it.
the next one.
Okay.
But really you do everything in model when you're working.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't work in the tabs. Those are just for printing.
Reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when
And
you're
again, I
like
think-
drawing elevations, right, Scott? You'll only
Well,
be.
that depends on your working preference. Like Mary might work through here. Like right now, you can see how my crosshairs is like a X or
Yeah,
T, and if I'm over here, it's a little pointer arrow.
Mhm.
That means that I clicked inside the viewport to go back to model space right
Mhm.
now. And so if I double click out here, this line will get less bold. So
Mhm.
now I'm outside. See how my thing is the crosshair everywhere?
Mhm.
So that means I'm outside of it. So Mary sometimes works through paper space to model space in order to do something quick. Like she'll be like, okay, I'm laying this out on the sheet. Maybe, some text got really big and ended up going off the page like that. So in here, she could click in quickly, pick this up, move this over, and be like, okay, now it's on the right plot. So it just depends on how you draw.
Yeah.
So, but yes, for the most part, I usually draw in model space because you have the freedom to do whatever you'd like moving around. Oops, I think I turned on something here. That is, where are we here? There we go. There's a million settings, right? So like what I just accidentally clicked on was show line weights. It's down here, it's a little modifier, and that made all of them show up as the thicknesses they are in the plot styles. So I don't want to get too deep into that kind of stuff, but
When we're just trying to look into something, how do we know what the most recent version is? Will it always be dated or?
so you mean like in these files in the
Yeah.
folders? So everything for us that is most recent has no date.
Okay.
If it has a date, that means we froze that in time and like for example sent that out to a client or sent that out to a representative or maybe to one of our consultants and like we
Okay.
want to know when did we send that. So at some point they'll get like, hey, we've got interior elevations dated whatever date, and we'll be like, oh, that must be old because my new file that has no date is dated something newer.
Okay.
So if you do see dates in here, that might just be something that one of us sent out in an email to somebody and forgot to move. Because once I date it, I usually
Mhm.
move it up to the archive folder so that
Okay.
if some reason we need to go back for
Doesn't get
something.
confused, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there's also certain things like right now I'm in Holiday House. These are consultant drawings we got from a kitchen designer. And so I wanted to date those because that's when we got them. They're not our drawings, but I want to know if I got
Okay.
the latest ones or not. And so currently those are the most current ones. And that's 12, 21, 23. That's old drawing.
Yeah.
So so anyway, all of our drawings are not dated. The only time we date it is if I go back into like the Windows Explorer thing here
Mm-hmm.
and into projects. If I go to Forest Lane drawings, and then usually in the plots folder, we always date those, right? So
Right.
civil
Is that
notes
the
with a date.
PDF?
Yeah, the PDFs all have dates.
Got it. Okay.
And yeah, I'll usually do by modified and then
Yeah, that's what I do to try
what's
to
at the
find.
top. That must
most
be the last
recent.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's just moving around. And so yes, you can see I set these up. There's many, many other things that I'll maybe dig into deeper on some videos or something for you guys. But like
Mhm.
one of the examples, one of the things that we do is if I show you a dimension from this point to this point, oops, that. You'll see that these are, oh man, these are supposed to be exactly 100 feet. Did I snap to the wrong?
Oh,
Oh, look at that. I snapped to the
yeah.
wrong. Somehow that was on there. So now, yeah, that is actually 100 feet away.
Okay.
Every one of these should be 100 feet from each other.
Why is that? It's
So part of that is when I'm setting up drawings,
Mhm.
like if I want to set up another drawing here, I make a copy of this. I say, move it to the end of the stuff, create a copy, and then add. And so now it adds a new sheet. So it's the exact same sheet as that one. In this, oops, where is it? Move it back just a sec. This, no. So if I wanted to, I'm double clicking in here. Again, if I zoom out, you see that's everything in model space. There's a command that I use that's called the pan command. And when I want to pan a certain distance, I'm going to say 100 feet.
Mhm.
And it's going to magically move over, and that's going to be my next sheet. I don't
Is
have to
that
worry
just
about
you
lining
just type
everything
in
up.
pan?
Yeah, it's just very precise way to do it.
Okay.
And so when I'm doing floor plans and things, like if we open up the floor plans, everything we do is a round number distance away. So like from this grid line 2 all the way down to this grid line 2, these are 100 feet apart. And so that's the main level versus the upper level. And so that's just, again, if I'm laying it out, I can, like, if I want to know where does this chimney that comes from the upstairs fall up above, I can very
Mhm.
quickly copy this 100 feet up. I'm typing that in my keyboard and it
Mhm.
lands right there. Something's wrong, apparently. They don't quite line up.
Mhm.
So, but that's how I check things from floor to floor usually.
Okay.
That's why there's certain distances apart. I'm going to exit out of all of these and say, no, I don't want to save because I don't want to screw up anything.
Yeah. Oops.
So if you guys are back to, I don't know if you made a bunch of copies like I did, but this is that template that we started, from scratch.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
again, we talked about selecting one way or selecting the other way. So I'm going to
gonna get
select
back
this
there.
way and have everything that crosses it be in there. So I just selected all of that stuff.
John one.
And then if I just hit the delete key,
Uh-huh.
they go away.
Okay.
That's delete. The other way to do it would be to go down here and to type delete and then select what you want and hit enter. I think up here there's an eraser.
I'm doing it.
It's the erase command.
Yeah, I did. I highlighted it. Tried to delete.
Well,
That didn't work.
highlight
I gotta.
yeah, highlight, click onto it, and then
That would no. To get to this by opposite corner.
you try to do that, and then click delete.
He's saying select object. Oh, we did it.
And then try,
Whoops, I did the wrong thing. Hold
I just like hit escape all the
on.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so drag, let go,
Okay.
and then now click delete.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Too late. We're good. I think I hit three things.
And so like anything in CAD, there's multiple ways to do it. So you can just select it and hit the delete key. You can also start the command first and say like, hey, I want to right up here in the home tab under, what is this, modify, there's a little eraser tip. You can start, hey, I want to erase. And then right down here, it's saying, hey, you're in the erase command. It says select objects. So if I select those objects, they're grayed out right now. And not only until I hit enter, will they actually be deleted or erased.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can undo that or whatever. And so I think another high level thing is this command up here. So we're in the home tab again up on top in our ribbon. This is called the ribbon up on top.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, when I normally draw, I collapse my ribbon because I use all keyboard
Okay.
shortcuts. I don't go use those tools at all.
Yeah.
So, but they're here. And so if we're going to draw something, like you just needed to draw a line, you can go here and that's line. So you click the line button and it says, hey, I'm in the line command, specify the first point of the line. So again, I'm doing nothing. So I just click once with my mouse and now I'm drawing a line and now it's saying specify next point, or you can undo. So I'm just going to pick, how
I
about
lost my drawing. Is there a way to like just skip back a recenter to like?
Did you click on it and then?
So if you double click the middle of the
There you go.
mouse,
Whoops.
Wait.
it'll bring it back.
Yes. Huh?
This?
No.
Where's
Just click on this again.
Okay, go to that. I think you're just zoomed too far.
Yeah.
So double click on the center.
Okay.
And that-
Oh, there you go.
Bring it back to you.
So if we want to copy any of these, like pieces of furniture and put it in a room, do you just highlight it and copy it and then go to another document and drop it there?
not another document. If you're in model tab, you're doing it all here.
Oh, you can't take it and put it into another place?
You can, but not not with the AutoCAD CAD command. So like if you selected this and you right click and copy it to the clipboard,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. Like if you only have this particular piece of furniture in this drawing, you can say
Mhm.
copy here. And then when you open up like a new drawing or wherever you're gonna put that,
Yeah,
you then over here, and it's basically the Control C, Control P, or Control V for paste.
yeah,
It's the same thing. So clipboard, you can paste, or you can paste it exactly where you had it in the other drawing with the original coordinates. But if I just say paste, it's connected to my cursor right now. And
uh-huh.
until I click it, it's not going to put it anywhere.
That's still in this. It's
I'm
not
in
in
the
the,
second drawing right now.
right,
So you can do it from drawing to drawing. It's just a little different way to do it.
okay. I thought that's what this was for, like, use this as like a template for your.
This is how you start a new drawing, right?
Well, not exactly. No, I'm just using this because that's starting point. So like in all of our drawings, like for example, if I go into the holiday house plans right now
Yeah.
and I zoom out of the plans,
Mhm.
this is all there.
That's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in every, oh, okay. So you can, so what I'm saying is like, say you did a sofa in one room, but then you changed it to 2 chairs. You can go and copy the 2 chairs
Right.
and you copy that and put it into that room.
Yeah.
Take out the sofa. Okay.
So, but here's a good point though. So like right now, none of that furniture is here. It usually sits right here. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason it's not here is because the layer was turned off because when
Ah,
we're printing this for construction, I
uh-huh.
don't want the
You don't
furniture
need
on.
furniture,
Yeah.
right?
And so the furniture layer is turned off. And so that's right up here under
That's
our
in layers.
layers.
Okay.
There's a layer manager up here too. Where's the layer manager? How do you get the layer manager up here? Okay. Oh, man, how do you get the layer manager? Man, I haven't used keyboard the ribbon forever. How about if we just get out of there? If I drop this down, oh yeah, I'll be able to do it here. So if I know that's on the A-fern layer. So if I go down to that, see this little snowflake here? That means it's frozen. So that's also like turned off. So the A-fern is frozen. So if I unfreeze that and turn it back to the sun, you see how it just turned on back there?
Mm-hmm.
Now I click out of here, so now they're back on. And so then over here in the plans, they're all drawn again.
I just noticed too, Scott, I just stumbled on this, but when I right click, you can cancel and undo. And
Oh, sure, yeah. There's a bunch of right click things.
yeah, I
And
see
that
the undo line.
this thing changes, like right now it's got repeat,
Right.
reset, isolate. But if I have this selected and now I right click, it's got a
Uh-huh.
whole bunch of different ones.
Right.
So it's context specific.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but yeah, so every drawing, when I started drawing, I always start with this template.
Mhm.
And so this should be in every drawing.
Okay.
The main difference is I update this all the time. Like maybe at some point, we get new TVs and like change sizes or models, or we got some furniture that we love using all the time because it looks really cool. I'm going to add that to the template, which is always in that ACAD folder. And if
Mhm.
you look over here, this might be missing stuff because I started this file 2 years ago. So this is what the template was 2 years ago, not today. But again, the way that you would bring that in is you'd be like, you know what, hey, I want these trees in the other file so I can use my clipboard and say copy. And then I want to go, I'm using Control Tab. Do you know how to switch to different programs and Control Tab with Windows? Otherwise, you guys probably have tabs up on top to go
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
drawing to
How do
drawing.
you do Control Tab?
I'm literally just hitting the Control button and then the Tab key, holding them both, and that switches from drawing to drawing to drawing.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So where was I? So this guy, well, yeah, let's say this
Yeah.
didn't
Whoops.
have it.
Whoa.
Then get back.
So again, I went and grabbed that from the other one, and then I would clipboard and say paste. And in this case, I want them in the same spot. So I'm going to say paste to original coordinates, and they're just going to show up back by my trees.
Fancy.
And so to give you an idea of what original coordinates means, this little floating thing here, this X and Y, that's the X and Y axis. See how it gets bigger as I zoom out? Like the tiny little plan is there, but this thing is staying big.
Mhm.
Now it's getting smaller. It adjusts, right? That is 0, 0 in spatial world, Cartesian plane. And so like this is going to be 3 feet over, 3 feet up. This is going to be minus 3 feet over, minus 3 feet down. So everything related to 0, 0, that's how it knows what the original coordinates are. That's way further stuff you don't even need to know, but that's how it knows what
But it's
original.
good to know, like.
Yeah. If somebody had a different 0 point in their drawing, it's not going to show up in the same spot because they reset something. Like I can actually reset this right here, and so I think this guy. Now my 0, 0 is over there. So if I try to paste that again to the original coordinates, it's going to move over whatever that distance is. So it, again, higher level stuff shouldn't matter. So I'm saying, no, I don't want to save that. Let's get out of here. Say, no, I don't want to save that. So back to just some basics then. So you want to,
We should just actually move a piece of furniture.
what?
Yeah, maybe we can talk about how to move something.
Just maybe we could just like physically do it with you, like move a piece of furniture somewhere.
Sure.
I know you just kind of told us, but.
Yep. So well, I guess let's draw a room. Let's start there. So one of the things I want to pick somewhere over here in the blank space, right? It doesn't really matter where. And then I'm hit escape a few times, so I make sure that I'm not in any command. And then I can start over here in my draw command on my home tab. I can say pick a line. So I'm going to choose that. And then at the bottom, it's going to say line, specify your first point. So I'm going to pick some point. I'm going to zoom in a little. I don't know why, just because I'm going to pick my point there. And then do you guys have anything floating here? You see how I've got like a polar thing? Do you have any dimensions floating around? Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
we do, yeah.
so do you have this, I think? Nope, not that
Yep.
one. Hold on, this one? There, like that. Does it look like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That I turn that off too because it's annoying to me. But what this is asking is the distance you want to draw it. So let's say we're going to draw a 10 foot by 10 foot room.
Did you go to line?
So if we're drawing, I'm in the line command.
Yeah.
Start over. Line command. Pick
Jen
a
doesn't
point.
have the little box up at the top that you tell the distance. Is there a way to get that?
There should be a little thing on the bottom here. It's called the dynamic mode, dynamic
It's,
input. It's right at the bottom here. It should be right there. It's a little plus with a little ruler next to it.
You see? You, like,
I like that.
you like circle it, I think
Oh, because we have a, yep.
oh, the meeting recording is like blocking.
Oh, I think that, I don't have that ribbon.
Plus with the ruler.
You don't have that at the bottom?
She doesn't either. We've got like the one.
I do, it's right, is it right here? But this is
Ruler things settings are on.
settings, drafting and annotation.
Yep, I have that. That's with a ruler, where's that?
Oh. I
I
see.
see. Yeah.
It's got a plus and then like a little ruler beneath it.
Do we have annotation?
Is there a way to-
Annotation monitor?
I see a plus, but I don't have anything with a ruler. I mean, mine's working, but
Are we looking for annotation monitor?
No.
No, let me like
Oh.
make sure we have all the things.
there's settings. Can we check our settings? Because you have definitely more little icons down
So
the
do you
bottom.
have all these highlighted that I have?
One,
Yeah.
I think he's got
How
more.
about this? At your little prompt thing, can you type in DYNMODE, all one word, for dynamic mode?
You
DYN.
have to draw the line again to get that prompt back. And then this type, DY, what is it?
No, you don't need to
DY.
draw the line, but it's DYNMODE.
Oh.
ODE.
Mhm.
And then it's gonna say Dyn mode, enter value for Dyn mode. You have a 2? Does it say 2?
Mine says 3.
Did you hit
So
enter?
change it to 2. Enter 2, hit 2 and enter.
Maybe hit escape and try it again.
Okay, so type in the command line DYN, right? DYNMODE.
MODE, yep.
And then enter. Right? Enter?
Yep.
Yep.
And then it'll say there's a number.
Yeah, 3, minus
Negative
3.
3.
So
Oh,
change it to
there's
2
2.
and hit enter. Just say type 2 and then hit enter.
Okay.
Once that's done, then try to draw a line again. And you should have that showing up.
You gotta select the line again.
Sorry.
Yep.
And then as you're drawing the line.
Oh yeah, there it is. That works.
Again, there's a million ways to do it. It's just
Now
which
is
feature-
hers defaulted, so the next time she does a line, that'll do that automatically, or does she have to do that every time?
I believe it should be defaulted. I think that stays
Okay.
on when you set up your program.
Okay,
So are we supposed to type something in there?
if you want.
So
like-
yeah, so what I was gonna do is we're gonna draw a 10 by 10 box. So if I hit the line and I start somewhere, I can type in 10 feet. And then right now, because my cursor is pointing directly over to the right, I can just hit enter, or that happens to be the 0 angle. So if I hit tab after my 10 feet, it moves to the other angle. See how it's in the other box now? And so if I move, it's at 10 feet, but it's giving what angle do you want it to be. And if I keep it right there and just say 0, I can say enter. And so now I'm on my second point. So again, if I'm doing a 10 foot by 10 foot room, I want to type 10 feet and then tab so that I can get to my angle. And again, you can pick one, or I can just kind of snap it up to the top, which would be 90. So you can either type 90 or just point up and hit enter. And then all the while, this command is asking you the same thing, like pick the next point.
And then enter.
I hit tab. I keep saying.
Oh.
Is that working for you guys?
Can you go through it one more time? Sorry.
Yep. So I'm in the middle of it right now. And so I'm just pointing which way. Right now it's asking how long do you want it to be? What's the next point? And so the highlight is on my length. So if I just type 10 feet and hit tab, now it's a 10-foot long line. It's
Got it.
asking the angle.
And say 9.
And so if I just point which way I want to go, or type in 180 degrees, because that way now is 180 degrees, and hit enter, it's going to select that as a point.
Oh, I see.
So then for this last point, if you've got all 3 sides drawn right now, the last point, you could just use the snap and see how the little rectangle appears when I get kind of close to it.
Yeah.
So if once that appears, you can just click the mouse button and it's going to snap right to that corner. And so now it's always going to keep drawing a line if I want to. So if I want to stop drawing lines, I hit escape. And so now I have a 10 foot by 10 foot box because I just measured.
I did 90 and it just went like angle though.
So you did like 10 feet, 90. Are you guys able to make a box?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know how I did it. Just
I don't use the 90. I just kind of like point the direction I want to go.
That's the
I
easiest
do
way.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't want to like confuse them if that's
Get rid of
not
this.
what. Okay, so do a line. Right, and then just like point that way, like with your arrow. And then type in 10. Yeah,
And tab.
And I just enter.
Just hit enter if you're only using the pointing area, just hit enter.
And then now you can go down, like point your cursor down and type 10 again. and then enter. And it connects, yeah, and then now go left. And again, enter, and then bring it up. Oh, whoa, I did not. I mean, you can do
If you
you.
wanted to get it closer up there and then it will say endpoint on the right.
Okay.
Yeah. And just connect it. I don't know why. it's
I know.
broken. Maybe you
I
did.
think it's, I started first with the 10 tab.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So maybe it's like total.
Mhm.
But she got a square for the most part.
Okay. So again, just real quickly, that we did that with lines. There's also a rectangle tool down here as well. So just briefly, you don't need to do it, but that's saying rectangle, specify the first corner or point. And so I'm going to say right there. And so now it's saying select the other one, area, dimension, or rotation. And so I could very easily see how it's waiting for a dimension right there. I could do the 10 feet and then hit tab and then hit 10 feet and hit enter. Oops, I didn't type 10 feet. 10 feet, tab, 10 feet, enter. So again, that's the same 10 by 10 square. I just did it a different way. One is with lines and one is with a rectangle. So the difference being if I select this with the green, I only selected one side because these are 4 individual pieces. They're each a line. If I select this one, that's a rectangle. And so that's 1 piece versus 4 pieces. So if I want to pick something up, I'm going to have to make sure I get all 4 of those versus one of those.
Interesting.
Doesn't matter, just a note to make. So I'm going to delete all my extra ones. I've got a 10 by 10 box. I'm zooming around with my mouse, zooming in and out. And let's go put a, I don't know, let's put a little sofa in there. Little love seat. So you do that by just selecting it, making sure that you have it selected. And I'm selecting it with my green box because all I need to do is cross it. If I'm selecting it with the blue box, I have to make sure I get the entire thing in there. Now that it's selected, I can say copy, which is the little copy command up here, or it's the
Yeah.
CO for you guys, and then enter. So I'm going to say copy and then specify a base point. So for me right now, what I'm thinking, I want to snap maybe right to the middle. And so snaps are different areas. So I can snap to a corner. I can snap to a middle. If you can't snap to a middle, we can change those settings. But usually you can snap to endpoints. And so I'm going to snap to the middle. And I'm doing that just by now. Once it shows up, I'm going to click my mouse, and now I have it in my hand.
So the triangle means middle.
Yep.
Little green triangle.
Have a green square or X.
Okay, so your triangle probably isn't set up. Let's see.
Let me just finish this command, and then we'll come back and walk through. So
Yeah.
I picked it up in the middle, and then again, I can snap to certain things again. So if I want this to be in the middle, see how it's a little triangle when I get kind of close to it? That means it's going to be the midpoint. So as long as the
Okay.
triangle's showing and I click, it's going to snap right to it, and see it moved right to it. So that point that I picked is exactly centered on this wall. For a piece of furniture, maybe you don't want it touching the wall. Maybe you want to select it, you want to move it, and then say you want to move it, what, 2 inches away from the wall? Now it's 2 inches away. So
Did
that
you just type that 2 inches?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't think we've talked about moving
We
an
did.
object.
Nope.
Did we?
Well, we did a little bit when we did the thing, but let's get back to the snap command. So you didn't have the little triangle, Kirsten?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
Wait, what? I didn't, I was still behind. You guys.
Well, you guys can watch the video too. So let's just watch what I'm doing as we walk through it.
Okay.
So just pay attention here, and then we can circle back to it, or ask questions later. So I've got a 10 by 10 room, right? I want to go get a sofa, so I need to select that. I can either select it by crossing it, or just picking the whole thing, or literally just picking a point, because this is,
Oh.
and so you could just pick it up by this grip and move it, but that's just moving it. So you're going to get rid of it from your
Oh, yeah.
What if you want another sofa? You don't want to have to do that. So
Right.
what I'm going to do is pick it up. I'm going to use the copy command, which is on the ribbon up here, or I'm going to type CO and hit enter. And then it's asking me where do you want to pick it up from? Specify the base point. I'm using my snaps to pick it up from the center point there. And then I'm coming over to this room and then watching, because I want to center it on this wall for a center point on this room. And it's going to snap to that because the little triangle is showing up. And then I let go. And so I could, again, I could snap this to everything if I wanted to. So that's the concept of it. So now a couple of things that you may want to turn on and off. Do you have, this might be another thing you don't have. What is it? One of these is object snap settings.
I think it's the little square with the square at the top.
You got one on the top? So I've got mine on the bottom. It's this little guy down here. It's called snap cursor settings,
Yeah,
object
that
snap
one.
settings.
Yep. You all have that?
Where is it?
So it should be one of your things that's highlighted in blue.
Uh-huh.
But it's like the square and then it has
Yeah.
a mini square at the top.
Snap off, it says.
So let's keep that on.
Yeah, you want snap on.
Okay. So make sure it's always highlighted in blue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you click that drop down,
Mm-hmm.
it pulls up like endpoint, midpoint,
Oh, yeah.
this whole list.
So click midpoint.
So make sure midpoint is
Okay.
clicked.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that'll be that triangle.
I think what you're describing, Preeti, is you're picking a little triangle and it pops up.
Yep.
So if
Is
I
that
just
not right?
pick the button, or sorry, if I right click and say object snap settings, it'll open up a whole dialog.
Oh. Yeah. I see that.
And so in
That's
that
a lot
dialog,
easier
you
to
can
read.
choose which ones you want, and it shows you a little graph. Like for the midpoint being checked, that's going to look like a triangle when you're going to use it. If it's an endpoint, that looks like a square. If it's the center of a circle, it's a circle. If it's a node, which is in this piece of furniture, I made a node right there. And so that'll look like a certain X circle with an X through it. And it just tells you what things will look like. An X will look like an intersection. You can do many other things. So
Click near the top of this button, move,
Oh,
enter, and then that, now you should, do you see that triangle?
yeah. Oh, wait, sorry, I was left clicking. You have to just do it with your
I'm just
roller, right?
with your mouse to just click or right click that and then
Repeat move.
yeah, we just end for move. So click and then
you guys got object snap settings figured out?
I think so. So click on. I'm just trying to show. I might be ahead. I'm just trying to show her how to now move that object and click on that triangle to move it.
So
Okay.
yeah, so select objects. Do I left click or do I click on the roller in the middle to move it?
You just click on the so right click on the object.
Yep,
And when you click the M on your keyboard,
I got that.
and then with your mouse, you should see squares and the triangle. Do you see that? Like as you're kind of moving around this object.
No.
Like, let's try it again. Okay, so click on the object. And then now click M on the keyboard to move, enter. And now as you're like don't, yeah, do you see that? You grab the
So-
triangle. So now you grabbed on the middle of it. So you're
But
able to move
it's
it.
making oh, okay, because I have to let go. That's all.
Yeah.
How do I enlarge it? Like, can you enlarge it?
Oh, that's a whole nother level. Like, should we
How is
talk
mine
about
so much
scaling an
smaller than my
object?
box?
Or
I
like,
show you one thing and you want to learn 10 more things.
Well, I don't know if I made my
Big
box too
sticker.
big or I must have. I must
Yeah, I
have
think
made
your
a
box
huge
is
box.
huge.
Yeah.
because her
I thought I
sofa's,
did
like,
10
tiny
feet,
in
but
there. That's really
I
weird.
didn't find out.
Why is your sofa so small?
I mean, it's as small as the rest, but my box is huge. It's
hmm.
Why don't you share your screen for me? Let me just see.
Yeah, maybe he can
Okay.
shoot it. Jen, how are you doing?
I haven't, oh, there it is. I figured out how to place. So when I wanna, so once I've copied the sofa, how do I set it in here?
So, did you copy it? So click on the sofa again.
Oh, I thought I did.
Can you see that, Scott?
Yep.
Highlighted.
Okay, so then do CO for copy. Is it, did you already do that? It should come with you.
So just CO.
Yeah. CO, and then enter. And now you'll click on,
It's not coming with me.
sorry, oh, I'm just gonna skip it. Okay, click on that.
Okay.
Just type in.
So,
So just, yeah, just click any, there you go. Now click CO. Enter, and then now you can like, do you see how that, like that triangle?
Oh,
thing?
I'm like, why am I not seeing anything? You're working on Jen's computer now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing a side tutorial. So now hold down on that.
that's why, that's why.
And then you have to kind of like play with your, like the roller thing to sort of like zoom out and then pan, like click down a little bit. While you're grabbing that sofa at the same time. It's like, I think it's just getting used to panning around and moving while you're grabbing an object. That's like
Yeah.
different.
So I don't have to hold it down once I have it grabbed.
Yeah, it'll just.
Okay,
So now you can kind of like, you said now you can
Yeah.
pan over and it's good
Yeah.
with you.
yeah.
So now you can, you should be able to click on the triangle on the square and kind of match it up. So there should be like, kind of hover over this line. And see, do you see my
Yeah,
triangle?
yeah.
There you go.
And then do what?
Just like
Right click it.
yeah, right click it.
Wow.
And then maybe escape so it doesn't make multiple copies. Cause it'll just keep copying it unless you,
Even though, so now I can just move it.
yeah. So
Oh, we should have shared her screen. The recording is going to be riveting of just staring at this.
Sorry. Okay.
Wait, we can look at hers. Okay, so,
If you move it, you just do enter.
okay.
Is there a way to like tell it to be specific dimensions, like if you're doing different size?
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's scale, right, Scott?
There's definitely a million ways to do that, but
Yeah. Right, save. Anytime you're like, what's going on, just hit escape and it'll start all over. So click on the sofa and then click add
Oh, here.
enter,
Kirsten, let me see. Can I request control? You're about to.
and then
Oh, yeah.
You have that, you have grabbed on the kind of.
Approve, yeah.
Okay. So go, maybe go, there you go. So click that.
Oh, cool. Look at that.
And now you just kind of move it over. Did you see how it
Yeah.
moves over? So now you can match it back to the triangle on this line. So hover over this line again. There you go. And then let go. So it's a wall.
Okay.
I thought I
It sounds so complicated, but once you like keep practicing it, it'll get faster.
Okay.
That's a big room.
My room's small.
That's 46 feet.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I did 10. I don't know how it did that.
I'm not sure either. Yeah. So we were drawing a line. We're drawing this way. And so 10 feet. Whoops. That way. Well, wow, there's a little bit of a lag. That's hard. I sometimes type inches too. Like I know 10 feet is 120 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, that's what I was talking about, where I can just snap because we're using those snap tools. So now you got a 10 by 10 again.
Okay.
So what else? So then, yeah, okay. So did you figure out how to do this too, Kirsten?
Yeah, I have the sofa in that other big room.
Okay.
The 46-foot room.
Mhm.
So let me see if this is working on yours. Okay.
So if I just go on that and hit move, I can bring it up.
You can, yeah. So I
Mhm.
want to go back. I'm in this thing. I right clicked down here on this thing.
Yep.
And then go back to object snap settings, which is at the very bottom. You can pick which one you want, but I want to go into that dialog box.
Mhm.
And so those are the ones we're choosing. What else do I normally have? I normally have perpendicular as well. I like that one.
Mhm.
I can show you what some of these do. Those are the main ones I think I have. But then one of the other things that we're not really using right now, but it's polar tracking. And so, when we were drawing these lines and we said you could just point this way, this is
Mhm.
saying that it's snapping to these angles every 90, 45, 30, 22 and a half, 18. And so it's always going to snap to those.
Okay.
Based on where you last, or based on the absolute polar alignment.
How did he get into snap? Over tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Do
what's
snap
dynamic?
settings, and then
Okay.
it's like when you start drawing doors with those angles.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So, but one of that polar tracking things is so if I go back up here and I want to draw a line, if I know that I want to draw a line like 5 feet away from this, if I zoom in a little more here, if I want to draw a line 5 feet away from this, I don't have to measure it first. I can hover over it. Like I'm right now hovering, and then as I move over, see how there's a little, well, didn't go. Hover. See how there's a little trail of a little green line behind me? That means I'm polar tracking. And so if I type in 5 feet right now into my line at the bottom and hit enter, it starts my line exactly 5 feet away from there. So if I want like a 10-foot line, I can draw it that way. But what that means is if I'm trying to place this sofa again, and if I move that over here, for example, and now we're gonna pick this up. Well, I can do a couple things. So now I just want to move it. So I can pick it up just by this node here, and just by selecting that node, now I'm holding it and I'll move it around. But again, if I get to this center point and I know I want it like 3 inches off the face of this wall, now that I've hovered over that for a minute, if I start going this way and I get that little dashed line, now I can, whoops, I got sideways.
And does that tell you in the box how far away?
Yeah.
Yes. But then you can also override it and just type it in and say 3 inches and enter.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And now it's 3 inches away. So if you go back and use your dimension, you can double check, snap to there, and sure enough, 3 inches away.
So that's how you find dimensions on
Right.
your button. Okay.
The other way is that I would literally probably draw a polyline, which is this guy. And the reason I draw a polyline is because I could start here, snap to there. I know I want it to go this way for 3 inches. I'm typing in 3 and then enter. And then I want to just draw like something I can reference down here. So I don't even need this to be a real dimension. Put it there. Then maybe I'll even put a little tail over here. So then if this was wherever it is, let's say that was over there somewhere, I know that I drew this 3 inches off the edge. If I just select this again and I want to reposition this by picking in the node, I can just snap to that because I know that was 3 inches off. But then when this polyline, all of those lines are one single piece.
Mhm.
Versus if I would have drew them with lines, I can draw the same shape. Oops, a little too fast. But these are 3 different lines. So if I want to erase them, I got to select all 3 versus if I want to erase this, I just select that one and it deletes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do a lot of layout lines like that where I'm just trying to like figure out like how far away should this be, or how do I want to center a window, or how far off a door should be from a corner, things like that. So there's multiple ways to do it.
We learned a lot today.
What?
We're learning a lot today.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
overwhelmed.
just about done here. My voice is starting to go. So,
Yeah.
and then I'm assuming, did you guys know how to do dimensions? I kind of just showed you there pretty quickly, but again, on the home tab, there's linear dimensions, and then there should be, if you drop that down, you can do aligned dimensions. And so,
You could get a radius and
Yeah, you can do a radius, an arc, all kind of diameter, all kinds of things. So if you want to get further,
Like if I need to get the slope of a ceiling for a light fixture.
yeah,
You would do radius or,
you'd probably do angle. So like
oh, okay,
if we
yeah,
had
yeah,
drawn,
sorry.
you know, that's what we were drawing in our elevation or
Ah,
something. And you're like, okay, what is that angle? You go up to your dimension and I want, hey, give me this angle here.
uh-huh.
And it's asking down at the bottom here, dim angular, select arc, circle, line, or specify what you're picking. So I'm going to pick a line and then say select the second line. Did I pick it? I guess I didn't pick it. The lag is killing me.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So I picked it, and then once I picked it, it goes right into, and it's telling me that it's 38 degrees from that to that.
yeah.
It's 42 to 142 degrees from that to that.
How do you find out what the slope is of the top?
Oh, well, okay. I guess you can't. If you know what the slope is, you can do that. But the only other way to do slope, I would just pick a point here somewhere. Oh, shit. Your polyline's different than mine. So I'd pick a polyline, pick some point here in the middle. I'd go, slope is 12, something over 12, right? So I'd go 12 inches, and then I'd move that up.
I don't think I've ever tried to find a slope, but I'm intrigued.
Well, specifically, I mean, we're doing that light fixture in the chandelier, in Forest Lane, the chandelier, and I'm like, I wonder how much of a slope they have to build the canopy for.
Oh, I
Right.
see, yeah, that's.
So I know that that's 12 by whatever. I would come back with my linear dimension and then just pick from that point to that point.
Mhm.
Whoop, back up. So I know that that's a 9 3/8 inch to 12 slope. So approximately a 9/12 slope. Does that make sense?
It does, I don't know if I
I feel
can
like I've never
replicate
looked
it,
that
but.
like trigonometry or whatever.
So we have, yeah, place the sofa 3 inches off the wall.
So
Can
the other,
we maybe go over like dimensioning just the sofa, like a simple line dimension?
sure.
Like,
So for the most part, well, okay, so I guess here's some best practices. Let's start there. So let's assume we were in the, well, now we got a couple here, but let's say we had these guys and we were going to dimension in the interior elevations. Whoops. Oh my gosh. You've got different key interrupts than me. Trying to-
are you trying to copy it?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's see how. But we figured out.
When I'm making key interrupts, I want it to be one letter if possible. Whoops.
Mhm.
And the fact that I use copy constantly, why is it not working? There we go. Zoom out. The lag is funny.
Mhm.
So generally our dimensions are going to look like this. If you're doing furniture, and I was just talking about this with Mary, but if you look in our layers, our dimensions, let me scroll way up. The A usually stands for architectural, right? So we have architectural dimensions, and so we draw those on this layer. So if I want to highlight this layer to start drawing on, I just pick it from the drop-down list. And now, because I can see it and it's active, anything I draw next is going to be on that layer. So if I draw a line, that should be a blue line. Yep. And that's how you know if you're on the right layer or not. What else do we have for layers? Where's our dim styles? So right now we're in some weird dim style. Manage, maybe? Annotate, maybe. Dim styles. Okay. So maybe we'll talk about this in the next one. But right now I'm on a dim style 48, which that means 1/4 inch scale. If you see these are for the interiors. These are 24. That means 1/2 inch scale. So anything with a 24 is 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. I will definitely get into this further, and this is a much bigger conversation, but if I want to use that dim style, actually, let me show you two ways. We'll start this way. So if I want to just go back to my home tab and do dim linear, the thing that's cool about dim linear is I can pick a point here, and I don't have to pick a point directly over. I could pick that center line. So when I pick that as my second one, the dimension lines, they're only going to be rectilinear as an option to place them, regardless of where I put my points. So it's only going to be orthogonal.
Yeah. Just go
If I do dim aligned, that will be aligned with however I pick those points. So I'm going to pick those same 2 points.
So you could do an angle.
And so one dimension is, I wanted that off of the wall and the face or whatever. This one is not a very useful dimension because what the hell do we ever need that dimension for? But at some point,
If you're doing
it
like a
might
chair
be.
in the corners.
Yeah, so if I had a rotated chair that was already rotated on plan, you could pick the 2 points with the angle.
Mhm. Mhm.
So back to the linear.
So when I was double checking all your furniture
Mhm.
for Forest Lane, I was basically just using the linear dimension
Mhm.
and making sure those
Gotcha.
dimensions were the same as what you had specified.
And you did that all in CAD, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would
'Cause,
be
like,
useful
I-
for that.
The last lesson we had when Mary was on it, and I said, is this more accurate than Bluebeam? Like, I feel like this gives you more accurate, but she said Bluebeam was better.
They're essentially equivalent. I think she's
Okay.
just quicker and more confident using that just because she doesn't have to open up CAD and do anything. It's right on the
Right.
ring. And in a
So
way,
for
I would
me,
argue,
because I am familiar with Bluebeam
yep.
and CAD is a little bit, I want to learn it, but like if I'm just in a hurry, I could go into Bluebeam and get a dimension and be
And what may
confident
be
that
more accurate is it's way faster in Bluebeam because you just go in and
Mhm.
do it and get it done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But another command that I use all the time is match properties. And let me see, where is that in here?
It's to the right by the color layer,
Oh, right there.
Properties, yep.
like, yeah, right there.
So what I was saying, this is like if I'm doing a big scale, typically all of the interior stuff we're doing is a 1/2 inch scale. So this is going to
Right.
print pretty large because that's how big it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And so just so you know, the difference between these two dimensions, dim 24 will print 3'0". This will only print inches. So if it was 3'0", this would say 36 inches.
Okay.
So let me show you that. So if I want to match properties, I want to match it to that size, that style, that color, that layer, everything. Like if I accidentally drew this on the wrong layer, actually, let's do that. We'll match properties. And it's asking, what do you want basically, what do you want to match? What's the source? And I'm going to say, let's make it look like this text over here. And then what do you want to change? What's the destination? And so I'm going to say this thing here. So now that's going to print red. It's going to be on the note layer. It's going to be just like that and all those settings. If I want to make it look like the other dimensions that are already in here, and you know what, I just don't know what they are, I can easily, but there's one next to it, I can easily say match properties. I want it to look like this guy here, and I want that one to look like it. I want that one to look like it. And I want to maybe select all of these to make it look like it. And so they just see how it changed the size of everything. And so then it's also because I put all of these things above our pieces. Oops, how does that let go? Like these are all the right size for the right scales. Like if you zoom in here, this is 1 inch equals a foot. That's the right size. This is 3/4 of an inch equals a foot. Those are the right size. 24 is for half, 32 is for 3/8.
So for elevations, it's usually 1/2 to a foot.
Yeah. And then floor plans are quarter.
Yeah. And
Scott, when it's in the red, why does it say 1 foot to 2 1/4, 2 feet and a quarter inch?
where was that? This?
Or is 1 foot 2 1/4 inch? Sorry. Is that like a,
You're talking here?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
the
think-
2 1/4. That is that's a reference for me for this text size. So this is text that we're going to put in dimensions. So in real world scale, because we're in real world here, right? Like this sofa really is 6 feet.
Right.
I want this text to print the same size on my piece of paper when it's printed out. In
Mhm.
real world scale, this needs to be 2 1/4 inches tall.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But if I want at 1/4 inch scale for that same thing, where is it? These guys. If I want that same text at 1/4 inch scale to be the exact same size, in real world scale, it needs to be 4.5 inches tall.
Oh, okay.
And so this is all stuff that I've just figured out over the years, and I just have it listed. And basically every scale is down here for the text and the
Mhm.
dimensions.
Oh, wow.
So like if you want 1/16 scale, if you want 1/32 scale, if you're using engineering and it's 1 inch equals 10 feet or 20 feet, those are really big. Or,
Mhm.
I got a whole bunch of them here. So
Oh, wow.
I've just set them all up to like, which one
Mhm.
do you need? What scale are we at?
Like I'm looking in multiple mirrors.
Right. And so then it basically gets down to what is full scale. So this is 12
Mhm.
inches equals a foot. So that's
Ah.
scale text.
Interesting.
And I'll dive into that more. That's a pretty complex topic.
Yeah.
But so that's a little flavor of some of those things. If you guys think of other things that you want me directed towards, like for example, like how do you copy a piece of furniture and put it in a room? I can make a video on that as well, and then we could circle. Maybe it would be good if I made the video, you guys watched it, and then we met and talked about.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
follow you how to do that or do this, and because I might be able to make that video in under 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
go.
And then we can stop it as often as we want to and go back and.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great idea.
That way we're just asking questions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Calls.
So like,
And
hey,
can
how do
you-
I dimension, furniture, when it's in a room? How do I draw a rug when I want to put it on the table? What if I
Right.
want to have it 3 inches from the room all the way around the room? How do I do that?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff like that is perfect.
And
Yeah.
then can we talk about like scaling furniture? Like say we're double checking furniture that we
Mhm.
specified and the table is bigger than what you have as a template. Like how we would scale
Mhm.
that coffee table to fit, or the sofa to fit like what the actual sofa is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I'm asking. And then like I feel like they should know how to trim and extend because I use that a lot with like, if you have a rug placed under a piece of furniture, how, like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you want to trim, I'm trying to think what else I use.
Why don't we circle
Yeah,
back
like
to some of those? Because I feel like we're gonna go forever here if we keep getting deeper and deeper. Because
Yeah.
then you're gonna be like, how about this? How about that? And so
yeah.
maybe put
Yes.
together a list of that stuff, and
An
I think
email.
it'd be
Okay.
easily
Yeah.
Yeah.
to rattle
Why
off.
don't we make a list of like what I've
Questions.
used the last 2 weeks, like from being here? So that could help. get
Yeah, because I'm
everyone
thinking
to
about
see-
too, like when you helped me dimension out that chandelier for Forest Lane, like, is there a way to say we want the chandelier to be 2/3 of the table? And like, can we
Oh yeah,
put it into a command and it'll do it for us or something like that?
not quite that easily, but
Mhm.
kinda. So like very high level, if that's your table, for example, there is a command where like if I have the same size line right above it,
Mhm.
I can say the divide command.
Wow.
I think, so where do I do that? Divide, there we go. So I can select that and it says how many segments do you want to have? And I could
Yeah.
say 3. And then right now I've got my little dots on pretty closely, but let me change my symbol. I want to make it a little X. So now you can see that that is exactly
Oh, yeah.
1/3, 2/3, 3/3.
Cool.
So same thing if I wanted 1/5 of the table, I could say divide by 5, and now that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are quick ways and fast ways to do it. Like that's how I'll do a staircase, like when I'm over here
Yeah.
and I need 12 steps here, I just draw a line and
Uh-huh.
divide by 12. Yeah, so why don't you guys make up a list, and Preeti, just a little prelude into some higher level things too. You talked about trimming lines. So like one of the things I do is see how this is all filled in with a hatch. That's on my wipeout hatch. And so it's literally called the layer is called wipeout right there. And I have that pen set to 0 with a thickness of 0. And so like if I take this towel and I want to put it over the top of this, see how you can't see through it? And
Mhm.
so if I wanted to print this now, and I want to print a certain area, like we'll print this little bathroom. And if I do a preview, my towel's covering that up because I have a wipeout layer that's gonna, anything that's overlapping, it'll be cut out.
Mhm.
And so I've been making a lot of blocks that way. Like I made all of these that way because you can see how they have a hatch behind it. So like if I want to put that over the top of this, like if I made a tile pattern on this whole back wall and I wanted to add these devices, it's going to wipe out that tile pattern behind it. You guys might not know the significance of this, but it's way faster than trying to go trim.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. And so I've been doing that with a number of things. I think I even did that with some of the furniture at one point in Forest Lane, or I had
Like to
all
bring
of
to
it do it.
front and
Yeah,
PowerPoint
it's
or
like bring it
something.
front.
Yeah.
That's Forest Lane. We got to figure that out.
So what if you were doing like a rug, like we draw in all the furniture, like the sofa, the chairs, coffee table, and then you draw the rug into the room?
Yep.
'Cause I usually kind of do the rug last to make sure like what the exact size needs to be. Then how do you,
Yes, you're saying if I draw the rug
yeah,
and I can
so
see
now
the
the
line.
rug's on top of all those pieces.
Mm.
So in here, there is, maybe it's in annotate.
Or can you say move to back and it'll be behind?
Yeah, it's literally moved back.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
where it is though. Is it here?
yeah, maybe. Draw order?
Oh yeah, it's draw order. Where is it? I miss it.
I don't know why you don't have that on there.
Not seeing it. Anyway, I have a little command up here. It's a little box. It is send to back. Yeah, it's draw order. It's called draw.
I'll send you back up there.
And then I have send to back. So I've highlighted that and then I say send to back and then it goes behind everything. So it definitely is what is layered on top of each other. And if you know what a command is, like I can hover over this and I can be like, look, this is the draw order command. You
Mhm.
can go up into your thing up your help menu up on top and type in like draw order. Oops. It will bring up a little help menu and it'll talk about the draw order command. So what it can do, what it is. But one of the best features that I like is it looks like this on the command bar, and you can say find, and then watch what happens. You
Oh,
click find. Did it take me there? The button is currently hidden behind another palette or the help window. Move the window out of the way to see the button. Hell is it? I hit find again.
So command up here.
oh,
Oh, is it back?
Yeah, on the annotate.
yeah.
Did you find it? It's on annotate.
She found wipeout.
Well, okay, there's another wipeout in AutoCAD too, I think.
What does that mean?
So that's where I got the idea from, or they got it from me. I don't know. But the wipeout command, you can draw like a polyline or frames. And then what that'll do is it's going to make, whoops, undo. That is basically like a polyline. And see how it literally blacks it out. So you can't see behind it.
Yeah.
Reason I don't like the wipeout command in AutoCAD is because you can only do straight line segments. So like this circle, I would have had to draw a million things to go around a circle. I'm using a hatch and I'm assigning it to my wipeout layer, which is set to append 0. So it's the same concept. It's a different way to do it. So they're not the same. It's deeper stuff.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
We'll do a hatch lesson too,
Why isn't this
so
showing?
we can learn how to hatch, or like fill in.
It's so hard to get used to using the roller to move things from Japan,
Yeah.
because I'm used to using the left.
Oh, yeah, you'll get
Oh,
used to it
yeah.
after a while.
Yeah,
It's funny, Mary and I, like when we're talking, we use that to move around. Like if you want to move fast, you don't want
Yeah.
to pan all the way over. So you end
Right.
up zooming way out and then zooming way in, 'cause
Yeah.
it's way faster.
yeah.
So when we're on Zooms together, we'll sit here and we'll do this and we're like, oh, sorry, am I busy? So, but yeah, definitely that's faster. You zoom way out and then zoom way in. And
Mm.
so, all right, everybody. I think that's
Thank you,
that's
Scott.
right now.
Scott.
And
We'll
yeah,
see
if you
you
guys
next
think of a
week, I
list or, just shoot emails to me and, we'll keep
Perfect.
compiling a list or something like that and
Yeah,
That's
start
a
putting
great
together
idea.
stuff.
okay. Thank you.
All right. And then
Thank
I'll
you.
try to
Have a good
download this.
weekend.
I'll try to download this and probably put this on YouTube or something or in a file or whatever. We'll see where we are, but
Okay.
I'll let you know where we are.
Maybe you'll get famous.
Yeah, right. All right. See you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
See y'all next week. I'll be out there next week.
Yeah, we'll see ya.